Hi everyone, my name is Hasan Mujtaba. I'm based out of Austin, Texas, and enjoying a really beautiful day today here. Some interesting facts, huh? Well, a couple of them actually. First, and probably a more obvious one, is that I'm a big foodie. I love to eat. Obviously, I'm a big fan of Indian cuisine. Another interesting fact about me, again related to food, is that I love to cook. My wife would probably not agree with that, but I do love to cook a lot whenever I get a chance to do that. And I love to cook all kind of cuisines, from Thai to Indonesian to Caribbean dishes as well. But yeah, I really enjoy cooking and eating, and really passionate about that. First job, wow, that seems like a really long time ago. Yeah, I grew up in India actually, and I ended up doing a fairly kind of traditional IT route. I went for my bachelor's of engineering, and after engineering, I got picked up on campus by a company. So my first job was with Putney Computer Systems. Putney was a big major. They don't exist today, but I had an amazing first 2 years, just transitioning from sort of a student college life into a more professional kind of demeanor, and I made some great friends and connections out there. So that was my first job. My professional life has been, I think I consider myself to be really blessed and lucky in so many ways. But it's really a culmination of experiences and people, which has led me to where I am today, right? And I don't think so any of this would have been possible without the intervention and participation and encouragement of all these leaders and people I've worked with. There are so many who are coming to my mind now. My first manager there was a really cool guy I'm still in touch with today, and I've collaborated with him since then on other things. Guy called Venki. I don't want to go into the details, but I call him Venki, and he was my first manager, right? And I learned so many things. I mean, besides work, just managing time, setting boundaries, setting expectations, conducting yourself professionally. It's such a big change moving from a college or an institution where you study to coming to a workplace, just by being next to him, just by watching him, assimilating him. And then very early on I picked up a lot of stuff on the importance of being healthy, keeping yourself healthy, and having a healthy mind and body to be able to do your best work, right? So I think that was one of my earliest influence, Venki, and I'm so happy and grateful for crossing his path, I would say, right? Another big influence was really my manager and director at Amdocs. So Amdocs was the second company I joined after Putney. I had been working in Putney for about 2 years, had some great success, had some great learnings there. I very quickly had realized that I do not want to be a techie. I like technology, but I didn't like the sort of the aspect of doing it in silos. And I really enjoyed talking and sharing ideas and solving problems, brainstorming stuff. So I ended up going to Amdocs, which was a big telecom software developer at that time. And they had opened up their India office recently, and I was the first batch of hires for Amdocs in Pune. I worked with many teams out there, but one of the things I really appreciated about Amdocs was sort of a really open culture, right? They were really like 6 levels, from a developer, like a senior, a subject matter expert is what they used to call, to the CEO, just the 6 or 7 levels, right? And they had open doors policy. It was multicultural. Like, you walk into the office and you have some folks from China, some folks from Israel, from the Greek guys, and they're talking their own languages, sharing their own stuff, and you're all working together in teams, right? So it was an amazing opportunity, just interacting and being exposed to so many ideas. At the same time, I had a super supportive manager who always encouraged me to take risks, go beyond my comfort zone. He pushed me really hard, and I learned a lot, right? So I think that influenced a lot in terms of how I thought about working, how I thought about culture, and I still use a lot of the influences today, even in my current job. So definitely, my manager and a lot of the leaders I interacted at Amdocs were a great influence. I worked across multiple roles, from being an engineer to being a subject matter expert, working with pre-sales, consulting, BA, all kinds of roles, right? It was a pretty flat company, great opportunities to work with. Kind of my last leg of the journey at Ambox was really relocating to Canada for a customer-facing transformation role. And I was responsible for driving their BSS, or as they call their business systems transformation, for a big telecom player in Canada. Right, I was part of the core team. I was an expert in a certain module, and I was supposed to go and drive transformation there. So when I was in Canada, I ended up, taking a decision to really pivot my career, and taking a different direction altogether by going to a business school, where I majored in finance and strategy, and then I ended up, picking up roles in marketing, and in product marketing and telecoms, followed by finance and operations and banks. I learned a hell lot of stuff there, and made some great connections. So I climbed up the corporate ladder in banks, for working for many Canadian banks. And there was a time in my life where I started thinking about, this is all great, hunky dory, but where am I going from here, right? Like, do I want to continue climbing up the ladder? Do I miss something here? And one thing I did realize very quickly was that even though I was probably not the most technically strong person when I was in technology, I really enjoyed working in technology, right? There was a people aspect to it, which I enjoyed, but there was also a technology aspect to it. And I was kind of missing out on all of that stuff, in my consulting experience in banks. So I kind of decided to take a pause and really think through where I wanted to be. That pause kind of matched with, how things were flowing the rest of the way in my life. Like, having family and kids were growing up and stuff. So that was a good time to take pause. But when I sort of unpaused, I started my own consulting work, right? And I started my own consulting work with some technology in it, right? And that's when I kind of, again, by random chance, connected with Sanjay, who was looking for, some opportunities, and he was scouting for some talent actually at that time. And I said, hey, it's not a good idea to, why don't I come and try working for you guys, right? And he was very confident that I could do the job, and I was shit scared, right? I still remember my first interview, or conversation with Rashi, who's is an exemplary leader here at Qentelli. They kind of convinced me to come and join and be a part of this great work which is happening. And I kind of took the bait, and since then I've been hooked here. It's been an amazing experience here. I think one thing I've really enjoyed at Qentelli is the fact that they're very open to new ideas, right? Speaks to the kind of leadership we have, speaks to the kind of culture we have built, right? There is a culture of honesty, and of having being able to say what's in your mind, right? And I think that's an amazing thing. I had to honestly learn a lot of stuff, when I came back into Qentelli. They operate in the digital transformation space. We do some amazing work for all kinds of customers, and including working with buzzwords like cloud and DevOps and automation and so on and so forth. And they were really buzzwords to me, when I entered Qentelli. So I had a really steep learning curve, learning some of those things. But because of the support I got from the leadership, and because of the amazing freedom I've had in picking my own team, defining my own norms and culture, and really just the opportunity of working with some of these customers who are growing at a staggering pace, has been a superb learning experience, right? So every day is a new challenge, right? So I really enjoy that aspect of my job. In terms of what I really want to be going forward, I'm fairly comfortable doing what I'm doing here, which is doing delivery, helping out sales, helping expand the business, but most importantly, building teams which can be scaled, and building a culture in those teams, which can lead not just to high performance and sort of great business results, but also build the foundation for the company, right? So I really see myself doing some of that foundational work, which will help us scale from where we are today to where we want to be 5 years, 10 years down the line. So I really see myself building that foundation, and I almost see this as kind of a giving back time for me, where I've been a techie, and I've kind of learned again and again, but at least a lot of my management experience I'm able to apply here, right? And I'm able to build those things how I was built. So I want to continue doing that. I want to continue to be a part of the growth story. I really want to build that foundation for Qentelli, where we can scale teams, and win bigger contracts, have an even amazing time, right? So yeah, that's where I want to be. Qentelli is a small company, but we're an amazing place, right? So go and talk to people, and make up your own mind, right? Like don't just believe what I'm saying in an interview. I think if you really want to work on the cutting edge of technology, if you're an engineer out of a school, you want to learn things, right? Remember that you can only do so much by like doing online courses, or working for big companies, where a lot of the business is coming from doing run of the mill kind of work. So if you really want to work on innovative stuff, want to learn from experiences, come and join a company like Qentelli, or I'd say Qentelli, where you will get exposed to that, right? You'll get exposed to challenges, and you're not expected to know them. You'll be given space to do that, and you'll expected to go and figure out the solutions to that, right? And you'll obviously have help around. There are people around you who have done this before, right? So I think that's what my key message would be. That if you're really interested in building up your skills quickly, come to Qentelli, give it a shot, talk to people here, explore the projects we're working on, and then make up your mind. Don't take it for granted. Don't take it what I say to you. So I'm really thankful and grateful for the opportunity, and I hope we preserve that culture, right? I really hope we preserve that culture, and scale up from here. So thanks again. Thanks for everything.